Hello and welcome to the Agatebay YouTube video. Today I have a selection of rough Dryhead agates with me that I want to cut with you at a later time of the video, but also I want to talk with you about the entire history of Dryhead agates as far as I know it, and also my personal experiences with it, because this year I had a little adventure going on which worked out in some ways and others it didn't, and I just want to tell you all the information that I have about this deposit and my experiences of what has been going on. And later we will be cutting all of these wonderful agates together, and I'll show you them a little more into detail and explain how I will cut them and why I will cut them the way I am going to cut them. So Dryhead agates have been mined in the United States for more than 50 years from what I believe, and at different periods of time there have been different miners involved in the process of unearthing these gems, and it is one of the highest quality agates that can be found on American soil. There has been a gap in the past, maybe about 20-25 years, where none of this material has been commercially mined. There were times where it was actually an open fee dig, where people could pay an amount of money per day, and then they could just take as many agates as they wanted. But as of now, there has not been a commercial mining operation for decades. And I have a good friend who lives in Montana. His name is Alex Garner. He also has his own YouTube channel. He does a tremendously good job of making videos. I admire him. His videos are so good, and he is such a good and nice fellow. We have a lot of things in common, two of them being our love for agates, of course, and the other one being disc golf. And a couple of years we got in touch over Instagram, I believe, and I visited him in Billings a few times, and he told me that he has a good relationship with the owners of the Dryhead Agate Mine, which has been unused for the longest amount of time since they bought the piece of land from the previous owners. So I talked to him, since I have the financial capabilities of running mining operations in other countries, like I do in Africa, for example. I mean, I travel all over the world to source the most beautiful agates, and I was like, Dryhead agates are pretty beautiful, and why not just give it a try and see how it can work out? So Alex and I made a game plan, and he set me up with the owners of the land. I made a couple phone calls with them, and they were generally open to the thought of reactivating the mine with me together and making an operation out of it in the future. So it was just touching the base, seeing what's out there and what could happen, but the general idea was that they would be open to trying to do it again. I'm not sure why it has been stopped for the last time, if they thought they were running out of good agates, or if the market was just not there to sell as much as they found, or if just the financial capabilities at the time was not there. But I wanted to give it a try. So Alex and we wanted to do the operation together, mostly Alex for the fun, to make some videos for his own channel, but I thought it would also be a good idea to ask someone who used to mine this material in an earlier time. And so I got in touch with one of the earlier miners and asked if he would support us in a way of like consulting, maybe helping us to find and understand the location of where it has been mined exactly, which spots may be better than others, just to have like a little general knowledge about what's happening at the location, and we wouldn't just have to start from scratch. So I called him, and he was saying, yeah, I'd love to do that just for the fun of it and get involved with it. And he was very supportive. He's been a friend of mine also for some time, and we've been getting along very well. He's a very, very nice and friendly person. And as we were moving on, we had another phone call, and he said that he has also some financial capabilities, and he was thinking about becoming part of the operation as being partners. And I was open to that because, you know, I'm open to sharing in most cases. But I mean, everybody makes their own experiences, and I've also made experiences with friends that I worked together with that after a while didn't work out. And that's also a little bit on how the story is going to turn out. So we set up meetings with the owners. He got in touch with them. We set up the journey. I think it was for August, and I had several meetings and appointments planned in the United States anyways, because I had different collections that I wanted to buy and different business opportunities to set up for the future. So I planned my entire trip around the opportunity to figure out what's happening at the Dryhead mine. And about a week after I arrived in the States, the owners got in touch with my friend who has been digging there for a while, and he said they don't want to do it anymore. So that was a big bummer for the first, because I booked my trip. I was already in the States. I had the expenses caught up, and I was like, that sucks. I was thinking it only makes sense to drive out there to talk to them personally again and figure out what we could do, because I mean, we cannot put down, thousands of dollars, in the tens of thousands, and start doing operations without even knowing what's happening or if there's any potential at all. Like, I've never been at this location before, and so we went out, visited them. They postponed the meeting every few days, so I stayed there in the area for I think 3 days or so, just waiting for something to happen. And one day we actually managed to set up the meeting, so we drove out, met them, had a really nice talk, and we came to the agreement that we have to get to the location to figure out what kind of potential there is, and just to see it, do a little bit of test digging, to see what kind of stones we could find, and they were open to that. And while they initially were saying a very high amount that I don't think would have made sense to mine this location at all, they gave us the opportunity to drive out and see what we could potentially do in the future, just to examine what could happen. So we drove out there together, we started to figure out where there could be places, and we were both very excited. And the friend that has mined there in the past, he was very, very happy to be back, and it was a joyful time in the beginning, but it did not feel like we were partners anymore, because he wanted to make all the decisions on his own, deciding on where he wanted to dig. He was also operating the small machine that we had there. It was pretty clear for me from the beginning that the area he wanted to start digging, where he was sure that the layer was, there's like 2 different layers of, I think shale it is, and just above that layer is where the agates could be found from his memory. But the area where we were digging was in the layer that was in the shale that was too high, so in the above layer of the shale and not in the red layer. And to me, from the geology, it did not look like this could be the layer at all where agates could be found. Just because of the reason that we couldn't really find any surface material that was lying around, and also it looked just to me like it was pushed overburden. There was like not much vegetation that grew over it, which is usually a clear indicator that this area had already been worked in some sort of way. And we were out there for I think 2 or 3 days. The weather was terrible. The situation was tense because we could not come to talking together and making decisions together, and I just felt overrun, because he felt like it was his operation. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, what places there were. He didn't want to listen to my ideas, and my understanding is, from when you're partners, you have to talk about everything, make decisions together, share your ideas, and then come to conclusions. But I felt like he was trying to just run the operation on his own. He didn't really care about what my input was at all, and I felt like we were wasting our time digging in the wrong place. So I wrote him a message that like in general, I don't like stress at all. I don't like drama, and as soon as I sense that there's going to be conflicts, I go away, because it's putting too much stress on myself. I have so much to handle, so many different things. I have 5 employees right now, and there's so much stress in my life already. Yeah, I just didn't want it to blow up into a larger scale argument, because I felt he was very, very focused on staying there, making his operation. It was his lifetime goal to be back and dig at this location, and I feel like there was nothing that could stop him from doing that. And I felt like I was in the weaker position at the moment, and I was writing him a message. I went over to town overnight because the weather was getting really bad. It's a very muddy road and it's easy to get stuck. So he was helping me in many ways to stay more comfortable, but in order to come to an agreement of how we can continue this operation, I didn't think we were able to get onto the same page. So I was writing him that if he doesn't think that we can get on the same page with what's happening and communicate well, that if he thinks it's the better idea that I move on. He wrote me in the sense of words that he thinks it's better to split up and if I leave. So that was a very frustrating experience for me, because I've been working to this moment for over a year together with Alex to set everything up. For me, it was one of the highlights of the year that I was working towards. There were many things that I planned around it, and then suddenly it felt like it was taken away from me. And while he is a very nice person and we get along most of the time, I didn't feel like it was able to work together with him on a base that both of us could have been happy with the outcome. So I moved on. In the same moment of ideas, I contacted another person who has been mining this material for 6 seasons. Many of you may know him. He's a well-established dealer in the business. His name is Mark Bohe, and I came to an agreement to buy his entire stock of Dryhead rough agate that he has from these mining operations. He has not touched most of it. Most of the material was still uncleaned, and he had a couple tons of material that I bought in a large-scale deal from him. These are some of the best nodules that I've been getting from this material. I will have a location in Tucson. I will be selling at 2 different locations this coming year. I will be at the RMGM show and the Tucson show place together with the gem shop and show you some of this beautiful Dryhead rough agate if you would like to get some. I will also meanwhile have set up my own website for the US market and ship out my own stones from there if you would like to order from me directly. The website is www.agatebayllc.com. So make sure to check that out in order to fulfill your Dryhead agate dreams. Meanwhile, I will take you over to the workshop to cut these pieces together with you. These are excellent quality pieces, selected because of the beautiful windows these are showing. I have high expectations into these to cut absolute killer pieces. There's even 2 specimens that show amethyst in the center, which is extremely rare for this location, but also some of the drusies can just be absolutely stunning. This one also shows a beautiful window, and then I also have 2 entirely closed nodules that I also want to cut with you just for the surprise and see what's hiding inside. I'm in the workshop now with the Agatebay outfit, and yeah, I got the Dryhead agate nodules with me that I just want to cut with you. I already showed them to you in the store. Some of them will be easy cuts because I will just cut a thin slice off to keep as much of the face intact as possible, but there's also a few pieces that I will cut through the middle to get 2 halves out of it, and as I'm putting them into the saw, I will just quickly show you again how I'm cutting them. The first agate right here is not showing any signs or windows whatsoever, but what I learned so far is that if you see more rougher areas in the nodule, that this is mostly the area where the agate concentrates, at least from a visibility factor of what you can judge from the outside. I mean, inside you never know what's going on, but the smoother area, that's mostly where more of the host rock is attached. So this nodule I would cut more to the left and across the entire ridge line here, like this. So I get one pretty flat half out of it and another half that is like full face, but has a little bit more of the backside with a bump going on, and hopefully get 2 full agatized halves. Oh, nice. Perfect. First agate turned out really nice, and while you think this may be the thinner half, inside of the piece, this is actually the half with the thicker volume. But I think both halves are just absolutely perfect. No fractures, a large amount of agate inside, and beautiful floater here, great depth here with the botryoidal bubbles shining through. So both of these are really, really nice pieces, and I'm very happy. This little piece is already showing a beautiful window, and it's a little tough read for me because there's not like really much rough areas that I see in the nodule that I think may be higher agatized, but I think it looks like the banding is shallowing down more to the bottom of the nodule. So I think the agate probably concentrates more on the right hand side here in this area. So on this way here on the left area. So I will be placing a cut that's maybe 3 millimeters or 4 millimeters to the side of the window, and then once across diagonally across here like this. So I will also have one thin half and one thick half. Wir sind gespannt und oh, okay. Oh ja, niedlich. Yeah, like I said, I cut the piece pretty much to the left side where the window is, and it was actually already narrowing down a little bit, but I think I hit it pretty perfectly with two nice halves that also make some nice specimens. Great contrast with the white and red, and then this dark host rock surrounding it. So I think that's another very nice piece. Yeah, this piece is already giving it all away. Beautiful amethyst druzy with a little bit of red agate surrounding it. This is a broken off area, but I can see there's some agate peeking through in different areas. So I need to find a section where there's not much agate. So I probably got to cut pretty close to the broken off area, because I see there's windows all the way peeking up to that corner. So I gotta stay close to here to miss as much of the windowed area as possible, and only cut through a little bit of a window. And I can also see the druzy does have a little bit of depth, so it will extend further to the back, and here I have a little bit more room, so I'll probably leave about ½ an inch to that size and cut about a triangular slice off of this beautiful front face. Oh yeah, beautiful. The agate did open up a little bit to a really, really beautiful druzy, and also has a little more agatization down here at the bottom, which I do appreciate. It is just a super, super rare with the amethyst. I've almost never seen that happen at this location. Unfortunate that it has a little bit of the fracturing going on, but it's such a rare and beautiful piece that I still do appreciate it a lot. Yeah, I want to take off this piece as little as possible, just to keep most of the banding and druzy intact. So you can see I'm cutting right here to the breakage point of the corner, as well as right here on the breakage point of the corner, and also to keep most of the calcite crystals that are here inside of the druzy as intact as possible. So there won't be a second half of this piece, but only one full chunky half. I can see the agate already fell apart. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Beautiful. What a gorgeous agate. The banding is just fabulous, and I've just been cutting so very slightly off the specimen that the front face just fell apart. But here you can see now these beautiful shaped calcite crystals, as well as some of these black needle crystals, which is probably goethite, and just gorgeous completely filled agate in the nodule, and even a little bit of a smoky quartz in the fill tube. What a spectacular agate that is. Absolutely stunning. Another absolutely stunning piece right here, also with amethyst in the core, just like the previous one I've been cutting. I can also see the nodules pretty much completely filled. I can see agatized windows all over the entire specimen, which of course I need to avoid in order to get a full banded specimen, but I think the best way will be just to cut once across here, right next to that window, right next to that window, right to the right of this window, and then cut over here to come back out next to this window over here. So once across, just like that.
Oh, wow, was ist da los? Wow. Wow. Fully agatized.
Cut it right down the middle next to all the windows, and it turned out to be a stunner. Look at how gorgeous this piece is. Absolutely fully agatized. This is so rare for Dryhead agates because most of them all have some sort of matrix around them. A beautiful druzy. You can even see the two layers of slight amethyst, and then in combination with the calcite that formed on top of the amethyst, but just stunning red agate with even a little bit of green inside of the banding. And what a cool piece this is. Large in size, just wonderful. Yeah, a little bit similar to the other druzy piece I had. I'm cutting it right down here where the window is, right to the corner of the window, and then once across the side, coming up to the very slim corner up here, to the very slim corner up here, and then back down to this window right here.
Yep. Oof. Oh yeah.
Yeah, nothing really unexpected happened. I just cut off the slice to have a perfectly even and flat face. The druzy is spectacular. It is massive in size, and it even has a little calcite crystal right down here in the right bottom corner. But also having a nodule that's so fully agatized in that size as well, with that beautiful of a druzy, that is something pretty special. So I'm very grateful that I got this material. This agate is pretty much a surprise. Not showing any larger sized windows. The only indication I can see is right down here, this little thing and this little thing. And there it looks like it has some of the gray banding surrounding it and a little bit of calcite in this opening. It's got a pretty nice angle for me to just cut right through the flat part with the biggest face, and I'll just place the cut here and see what's happening.
Oh, das ist nix.
Alright, and here we go. Yeah, that is obviously also what can happen, that you have pieces where you have a large amount of matrix and just very little agate in the center. I mean, you can see a little bit of red, you can see a little bit of the gray, and maybe even a tiny little bit of smoky quartz or amethyst. But of course, this is not a piece that needs a lot of attention. So I think we'll just leave it and not talk about it anymore. Overall, I can say Dryhead agates are some of the most amazing agates that can be found on American soil. Yeah, the journey is not at an end yet. I have plenty more material with me that I will have in Tucson. Of course, I will be cutting some of the material myself, but I have so much that most of it I will probably sell as rough, both working with other dealers together as well as selling it retail. So head out to my website www.agatebayllc.com to see what is available and get some of these pieces on your own. These polished pieces, they will be on my website, my German website, www.agatebay.de. And actually, funnily, one of my German friends just messaged me today that he would like to get a Dryhead agate that consists mostly of matrix, and I'm not sure what exactly he wants to do with it, but I'm going to give this piece away to him. All the other pieces are really nice and met my expectations by far. Amethyst is really rare, fully agatized pieces are really nice and rare. The druzies are beautiful. I love the Dryhead agates for their red banding, and I think of this type, it's one of the best agates in the entire world with this nice saturation of red agate bands. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you also learned a lot about the history of Dryhead agates, and if you have any more questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to answer all questions you may have about these agates. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content, of course, and I'll see you soon again. Thank you for watching.